We realize we haven't done a thing to earn that yet, and again, I think it's something more of a testament to last year's program than it is this year's. I think we got a lot of good, senior leadership this year. Many of these kids, if we have a strength, is the fact that many of these kids have gone, 2 ways, or have played, have started since the sophomore year, which is a rarity, and I think that's a strength of ours.
In the county, teams
stepped on the field for their very first practice in pads, in which they will aim to get back to the PIAA state finals once again.
Well, I think, going in to pads, obviously we got a lot of work to do, but, we know depth's going to be a problem for us. We have a lot of talent in the, in our first units, but, we have to have some juniors and sophomores fill in some spots. We did lose a lot of key seniors last year, and, so that's going to be one of our weaknesses this year.
Now, despite losing starting quarterback Eric Carlson and Damon Sanders, the Ramblers still possess a lot of talent in preseason All-Americans Joe Dupre, Charles Rush, and Ed Hinkle.
I've seen it as a leadership role since I'm a senior this year, and also I've been on the varsity. This will be my 3rd year on varsity, so I know I have to step up, and so we'll be able to be successful this season. We have a lot of speed again this year. We have speed and set this year. We're going to be tough. We're a little young, a little thin. In depth-wise, but if we stay injury-free, anything could happen, and we just get on the roll winning, and we can go all the way again.
Now the Ramblers enter the 2000 campaign ranked #1 in the state. The
Or again, well, according to many preseason publications, they should capture the state title this year. Now, has all that preseason hoopla gotten to the prep players and caused them to lose focus?
Kids are going to be big-headed coming in because of all the talk. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. Our kids are focused on the task at hand, and that means when we say task at hand, we're talking about winning our first football game. So. They're focused on that. They're in obviously in an upbeat mood and very positive about what could possibly happen this season.
And don't be 5 with Sports Director Gary Drapshow.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sports Watch 35. We begin the high school football season. The NFL season kicks off this weekend as well. All teams have high hopes coming out of training camp, but no team had more preseason publicity than the Ramblers of Cathedral Prep, last year's state runner-up, and rated as high as 3rd nationally going into the season. The Ramblers' first real test of the 2000 campaign came at Veterans Stadium against Franklin Regional from the Pittsburgh area. Opening kickoff, they get a break. The Panthers bungle the catch. Donald Brown is there for the recovery. The Ramblers are in business right away. You can't do this to a good football team. 3 plows later, Tim Dance scooting in from 4 yards out. Prep 7-0 just 30 seconds into the game. After a defensive stop, Ed Hinkle gets Prep on the board. Great fake on the bootleg. There he is. 14-0 Prep first period. Defensively, check out Joe Dupre. The hit, vicious, on Franklin's Sean Laughlin. They would manage only -7 yards rushing for the night. Quarterback Bowden Apples was running for his life. This sack by Brian White, and Prep completely dominates on their way to a 47-0 win. Our post-game coverage continues tonight as we are joined live in the studio by Ramblers running back Tim Dance. 2 touchdowns in the win tonight. And I guess, Tam, you got the first touchdown. It was nice, kind of that first opening kickoff, the fumble. Right away you're in the end zone. Kind of took all the jitters out. Any doubts you may have had going into the season, right?
Right, there's a lot of doubts going into the season, but there was a lot of expectations. Coach Mish always tells us that we're high above. First we were ranked in the state, now we're ranked in the nation. A lot of people were gunning for us. But then we went up to North Allegheny with our heads up high, thinking that we can't be stopped. But it was a good thing that they handed it to us, because after that, we came back down to earth and played some football.
Yeah, you guys came out with a renewed vigor tonight that kind of reminded you of last year's team. And offensively, you put some points on the board. Nice offense there. Not much has changed from last year, and you're doing a majority of the running, at least the first part of the season, right?
Right. I did a majority of the running today, but also Jason Easter has carries. He's a real good tailback, quickest guy I ever met in my life. And Jawan Walker will be back after 4 games, and then we can all get the ball.
So in other words, you guys are loaded and ready to go. And I guess the main thing is that seemed to focus you guys for a good opening win for you, because now you're focused and you know what to expect, and I think you turned some heads tonight, right?
Yeah, we turned a lot of heads tonight. A lot of people doubted us, talking about scrimmage and stuff, but Coach Mish says that you don't think about scrimmages. We don't want to get people hurt, but he was a little disappointed because we should have did a little better than that. But we came back tonight and we showed people we're all about.
All right, Tim, congratulations. Nice game.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Nice job. All right, out of McDowell, John Cushone began his second season at the helm of the Trojans, a year getting his program installed among the Trojan players, but a tough opener tonight at home. The Trojans hosted Greenville, a perennial state power in AAA, favored to win their league again this season. And each team would come up with some big fourth down stops. This time, Eric Sherlock stopping McDowell's Joe Pistone. And then with Greenville threatening, check out Eric Adams getting the shutdown by a host of McDowell defenders, keeping the game scoreless after one. Greenville breaks through in the second quarter, 3rd and 5. This is a simple little dump pass, but it goes for a lot more. 50 yards later, Eric Adams will find the end zone, and Greenville had a 7-0 lead on the Trojans' home turf. But with the winding down clock in the first half, Joe Grack rolls down to his left. Nice toss to Ryan Sherwood behind the defense for the touchdown, but that's all McDowell would get as they fall 20-7. And for the two big guns next weekend, Prep will go for 2 in a row as they travel to Buffalo to play Bishop Timon, and McDowell would have an easier time with Ballou from D.C. as they make a return trip to the area. And we're back with more sports highlights of the key contest. And time to check out the county. Last year, Girard and McLean shared the title, much the same going in this year because a number of teams expected to vie for the championship. Let's check out the Lancers, perennial contenders in the ECL, and on the road at Corey to open up their season. The defense set the tone early in this one. Corey tries to go downfield, but McLean's Ryan Zawatsky is there to break it up nicely for the incompletion. Corey would break a scoreless tie, though, late in the second quarter with John Wilson calling the offense. Derek McCrae, expected to do most of the ball handling for the Beavers, slashes up the middle for the score. They missed the extra point and led 6-0. McLean had some scoring chances in that first half. Kyle Marino uses some good blocks to get down the field on the option play for a big gainer, and the Lancers were setting up shop to try to take the lead. But the Beavers defense come up with a big play, and all night they did this. Interception by Chris Rhodes, and Corey pulls off an opening day upset of the Lancers, 24-17. The other half of last year's championship opened at home tonight. Under Minna George, the Girard Yellow Jackets have come full circle from bottom to top. And the Jackets hosted again tonight Harbor Creek. Actually, it was Harbor Creek's home game, but the first of a season of road games because their new stadium is still not ready. Harbor Creek trailed 7-0 third quarter. Josh Vogel breaks to the left side. Touchdown. A missed extra point kept it 7-6. Harbor Creek a chance to go ahead. When Vogel has the ball jarred loose, the Yellow Jackets recover, ending the Huskies' threat. They have another chance. 2 seconds left. Girard goal line stand. They elect to go for the touchdown and not kick the field goal, and Girard prevails 7-6.
Good maturity. We moved the ball. Didn't take quite a good advantage if we want, but I thought, boy, Eric Wilder played a great game. First varsity quarterbacking job, and then we got some help from some other kids. Cramped up pretty bad. Took a little bit away from us, but boy, I'll tell you what. Whoa, what a game. What a game. I can't take too many of these. I'm getting too old. 26 years as an opener. This was the toughest one I think I've ever had.
All right, Minna. Gannon wins their opening game at Bentley tonight. Quarterback Jason Cunningham ran for 189 yards, including a touchdown run. Check out the area schedules for opening day Saturday. The Lakers against Wayne State. Allegheny plays the top-ranked team in Division III. And at the Borough, Lou Tepper will make his debut when they host Ashland in a non-conference game. Cathedral Prep began their soccer season today. Peters Township out of Pittsburgh. Two-day soccer tournament called the Challenge Cup. And the Ramblers get going.
And we're very pleased with the effort.
With 13 starters returning from a 3-6 team, expectations were conservatively optimistic going into the season. But after their fine showing last week, that has changed.
It's fun. We like being at the bottom because, you know, people didn't expect us. Now we come out and now we're finally someone, and let's take it to whoever we have to.
We got to take every game one step at a time here. Fairview's a very strong team, and we just can't let that get to us. We have to focus on what's important. That is Fairview, the next game.
Although it's still very early, the Beavers are making noise throughout Erie County. And with a win tonight over Fairview, those sounds will only become louder. Chris Hughes, WSEE, Newswatch 35 Sports.
Time to check out the high school action of week 2 of the season. Our end zone to end zone preview each Friday, brought to you by St. Vincent Sunday Sports Injury Clinic, open 8 to 10 a.m. at St. Vincent Fast Track. And for our preview tonight, we go live to Chris Hughes at Gus Anderson Field at McDowell as the Trojans get set to host Washington Ballou. Chris?
That's right, Gary. Beautiful night out here. Maybe not so sunny, but certainly comfortable, much more so than last week. As McDowell gets set, as you said, to take on Washington, D.C. Ballou. And we're now joined by McDowell head coach John Cushone. And John, tough loss last week to Greenville, 20-7, but as a good football team, you got to feel good about your chances here tonight.
Red, we made a lot of mistakes last week, and I think we've polished some of those things up this week at practice. We know we're going to be dealing with a different type of team this week, a lot of team speed, good size, but it's certainly a different type of team than we played last week. I think if we can execute and eliminate our turnovers, especially making the mistake in key situations, we'll be okay.
You know, Ballou's somewhat familiar with some Erie fans because they've been here in the past. Not very impressive then, but apparently right now they have a pretty good quarterback, huh?
Yeah, we're real concerned about their passing game. We had seen them play some years back, and their attack is quite different now. They threw the ball 80% of the time in their first 2 contests and threw it pretty well, to be honest with you. So we're a little concerned about that. We're going to have to do some different things defensively to make sure we can at least slow down their passing game.
And, of course, Joe Grack, I assume, will open a quarterback. You're going to use 2, though, possibly, throughout the course of the year. How about the wing tee, the way it's developed over last year to this year? Are you executing it much better?
Well, we're pleased with where we're at with it. Last week we had some problems. I think that was more a tribute to Greenville's defense than it was anything else. But we're pleased with where we're at offensively, and we're pleased with both quarterbacks. So I think there's a good shot you'll see both of them tonight, and we'll use the one that we think fits our needs the best at that moment.
And finally, of course, this is your last independent game for a while. Next week, Central Mountain, you get into the league. Is this more preparation for that?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you want to make sure you're playing the right people by the time you take the field next week. So we're going to play some people and make sure that when we get into league play next week, we're operating on all pistons.
Okay, John, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Good luck tonight. Okay, John Cashone, the head coach of the McDowell Trojans. 7 o'clock start here at Gus Anderson Field. They'll take on Washington, D.C. Ballou. Back to you in the studio, Gary.
All right, thank you, Chris. Here's the Friday Week 2 headlines around the high school football end zone to end zone. The Trojans looking for their first win. The key battles at Girard and Iroquois in the county. The Ramblers hit the road for the first time. And in Meadville, a new coach and maybe 2 wins in a row to start. Highlights in Insta Sports on the way tonight at 11:15. So another Friday night of football. We're
all right. Thanks, Gary. We'll be right back.
The Conference Center will look.
Now, Sports Watch 35 with Sports Director Gary Drapshow.
And welcome to Sports Watch Friday. Another football under the lights. Week 2 will go around the county league and into Meadville for our coverage tonight. But we'll start with the McDowell Trojans. In search of their first win of the season, they hosted Ballou High School from Washington, D.C., an improved Ballou team by all standards. Trojans strike first midway first period, capping off a drive. The pitch to Ryan Sherwood. He begins a big night with his first touchdown, 7-0 Trojans. Then they come up with a good defensive play. The turnover as Ryan Miller, good coverage coming over from his safety position to pick it off in front of the Trojans bench. Joe Grack to Sherwood, pulls it in. That increases the lead to 14-0 late first period. Grack and Sherwood were not done. They connect again, and Sherwood would add a 4th touchdown on a punt return, and the Trojans win big tonight, 51-22. Prep took its national ranking on the road for the first time. Like the last several years, the Ramblers have back-to-back games against teams from the Buffalo Parochial League. Prep rolls to a 42-14 win, but this game was tied at 14 late in the third until Prep wore them down and exploded. Tim Dan's another great game, 217 yards rushing. He scored 3 times. Prep rolled up 380 yards rushing as his team, and Josh Lustig added a defensive touchdown as the Ramblers go to 2-0 on the season. Another Metro team hit the turf of the stadium tonight. Central began play in the Allegheny Conference, hosting State College. Both teams on the losing ends of opening week games last Friday night. The Little Lions seem to always have a speed burner in the backfield. This year is no different. The swing pass to Ricky Williamson. And after he shakes a tackler, he is gone into the end zone for an early 7-0 State College lead. But this play killed the Falcons. They had State College backed up on their own 3. Williamson finds a seam and turns it on. 97 yards for a touchdown, and Central was never in it from that point. They trailed by 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. Williamson scores his 3rd of the game, a little shorter on a run there, and State College cruises to a 34-6 win. A doubleheader at the stadium on Saturday. The Lakers will kick it off at 3. East does battle with Oil City at 7. Stick around. All the action from the Erie County League is on the way when Sports Watch continues.
Back on top with the TD run. The Ramblers outscored the Tigers 35-7 in the second half. Josh Lustig returned an interception for 6. Tim Dan scored 3 TDs, rushed for 217 yards. Cathedral Prep overtime at 42-14. The Ramblers 419 yards of offense. Titusville defeated Strong Vincent 47-12. The Colonels falling to 1-1. McDowell hosting Ballou. Trojans in search of their first win. Quarterback Joe Grack finds Ryan Sherwood. Trojans up 21 points. McDowell forces Ballou to punt. Sherwood takes it back 34 yards. McDowell over Ballou 51-22. Ryan Sherwood 4 touchdowns at the stadium. State College and the Central Falcons. State College facing a 4th and 12. Chris Ganter flares one out to Ricky Williamson, and Williamson makes the cut. He's taking it all the way to the house. Jesse Owens starting at quarterback for Central, finding a wide open Mike Musoon. Musoon picks up the first down, but the drive later stalled inside the 5. State College took over, and Williamson went 97 yards for the touch right up the middle. State College over Central, 34-6.
In the County League, quite a matchup at Girard as the Yellow Jackets hosted Fort LaBeouf. Both clubs looking to go 2-0 on the year. Game tied at 7 in the second when Joe Scott goes up top to a wide open Zach Fuhrer. Nice grab. He has wheels. He's in for the touch. 14-7, Bison's lead. The Bison's next possession, Big Dan Shields gets the call, and he's in for his first score on the night, 21-7 LaBeouf. Second half action, more from the blue and white. Watch Dan Shields just bull his way over 2 defenders, Mike, for the score, 28-7, LaBeouf on top. But the Yellow Jackets do not quit. Late in the fourth quarter, DJ Belmondo gets the reverse and scores on the end around, and we have a 28-14 ball game. Then the Jackets make another attempt. Nice run right here. This goes down to the 12-yard line, but that was it. Fort LaBeouf over Girard, 28-14.
It's great. It's a great time. The line out there, opening holes all night for all the backs. We just played our hearts out and we gave it everything we had.
Very hard-fought game. Coach George should be very proud of his team. They never quit when they got down. They kept running and executing their offense. We're just as proud of our boys, too, all right? They didn't relax, and they played a great football team again tonight. Another hard-running football team, and once again, we did some good things and we did some bad things, so we'll have to go back to the drawing board next week.
Great game on both sides tonight. The Bisons will host Seneca next week, looking to go 3-0 on the year. Corey taking on the Fairview Tigers on the first drive. Off the handoff, Miklos Salamasi coughs it up, and Chris Rhodes would recover for the Corey Beavers. The Beavers wasting no time off the toss sweep. The old play. Derek McCray would take it the distance, and Corey led it 7-0, but the home squad would rally back. Fairview defeated Corey in overtime, 18-12. Now, we have only reached halftime in the overtime.
Or a couple of fourth quarter guys. Well, actually, overtime guys, right? It's the overtime show.
Overtime, halftime, overtime guys.
You got it. Back with more of the overtime after this.
This is a good team from Greenville. They came to play. Here's Eric Adams slashing through the middle, gets into the end zone for the score. Greenville's on the board early. Meadville had something going early. Watch Bud Massey with the football. He's number 20. He's got some open room to run, takes it downfield for a big gain and a Meadville first down. The drive, however, would stall, no points, and Greenville come right back and put it away. Again, Adams slashing, cutting, good blocking. That's a touchdown as he barrels through the defense. They can go to the air, too. Sam Young to Gio Vendemia. That's a score and a 42-6 win for Greenville tonight. Also from Crawford County, it's Segertown and Cambridge Springs. The Blue Devils hoping to compete for the title in the French Creek. Dan Green the handoff. Dan Green pay dirt. Dan Green touchdown. Then it's Josh Hayden with the short run. He would bull in for the score. And the Blue Devils with the win tonight over Segertown, 26-14. All right, here's the college schedule for this weekend. Most teams on the road. The Lakers, the Knights, and Edinburgh will play a Division I AA team in Youngstown tomorrow night at 7. The Gators are back home after losing to top-ranked Mount Union last week. And we're back with more Sports Watch in just a moment.
And they said that close this week. Ramblers, Hinkle, Eddie Hinkle, another solid day. Back to pass. Finds Mike Barnes scrambling to his right, throwing off the wrong foot. That's a pretty good arm. Touchdown. 40 yards. 7-0 Prep has the lead on their first drive. Second possession. Eddie Hinkle again. The pass is caught. Big Joe Dupre. You actually have to tackle this guy into the end zone. The big man rumbling for the score. 50 yards. 14-0 Prep has the lead still. First quarter. Eddie Hinkle sees nothing. This is why he's been made the quarterback this year. He can do so much when he touches the ball. 50-yard run. Great move. 21-0 Prep has the lead in the first quarter. Tim Dance, solid effort. 96 yards. Takes the pitch left. 15 yards. He's in the end zone. It is 28-0. Prep has the lead. Then Eddie Hinkle again, this time to Josh Lustig over the middle. Great catch. Takes a big hit. 35-0. They would hold off the rain and easily hold off Buffalo St. Francis 41-7. Our Mike Gallagher caught up to some of the players after week number 3.
It's another win in the win column for the Prep Ramblers, and they look better than ever. A super performance tonight by a couple of key players, one of them joining us, Joe Dupree. Joe, and I'm not talking about big hits defensively. I'm talking about the offensive rambling down the field kind of guy. You've certainly become an offensive threat.
Coach just wanted to try to get the tight ends involved in the passing game going, and Ed, we put a couple plays in this week, and Ed hit me with the pass, and I just tried to make the most of it. And he hit he hit Josh Leslie for a couple, I think, and we just our game plan coming in was to get the passing game going, and I think we did that. And the credit's Ed, because he put all the balls right on target.
Speaking of Ed, he joins us as well. From week 1 to now, you look like a totally different quarterback.
Yeah, we've improved a lot. We've worked a lot on the passing game. This week we really concentrated on getting the ball to the tight end in practice. I think it paid off for us.
One of the keys for you seems to be the way you're spreading the ball around, which is very untypical for a young quarterback.
Yeah, we got a lot of receivers that really stepped up. At the beginning of the year, we thought we were going to struggle at the receiver position, but Mike Barnes has really stepped up, and he's played good.
Super. We'll let you guys go. Got to catch a bus. Certainly a big night. The Ramblers roll 42-7. They are perfect on the season. They return home next week, where they will take on the Central Falcons in a huge ball game Saturday night. Reporting from Buffalo, New York, I'm Mike Gallagher for Friday Night Lights.
Thanks, Mike. The Prep Ramblers, another week, another win. It seems that simple. Let's go to McDowell. The Trojans open up conference play against Central Mountain at Gus Anderson Field. The Trojans' offense exploded last week. Why not do it again this week? Ryan Sherwood, every time he touches the football, it seems like something big happens. This time, 38 yards, and McDowell is up 7-0. Later, it's Sherwood from short distance, the 1-yarder. McDowell out 14-0. How about Ryan Sherwood? 260 yards. That's a school record, and 4 more touchdowns. Not to mention the fancy play on the hook and ladder. Derek Rudler to Joe Gabbard. Trojans roll on 46-20.
Hollidaysburg and Central at Vet Stadium. Chris Ceraminik, 17 yards. Hope I said that right. 27-0. Hollidaysburg in control into the end zone, and then Brad Muth powers into the end zone. Tough night for Central. 35-0. Hollidaysburg rules. Let's take a look at the AFC standings right now. Before we get to that, let's get to East and Meadville, Scott.
Yeah, the East Warriors in Meadville looking for their first win of the season. Bulldogs looking for win number 2. East with a pretty good start offensively. Joe Slomsky hits Rob Morton. Nice 25-yard pickup for the Warriors. But East would miss a field goal. Still no score. Bulldogs with the football. Good combination here. Chad Bage to Kyle Brown for the big gain, but the Bulldogs could not get on the scoreboard against the East defense. Warriors win it 26-0. Now let's take a look at the AFC conference standings. Here we go on the Erie Sports Store leaderboard. Prep wins again. They're 3-0. Altoona drops to 2-1. McDowell gets their first conference win. They are 2-1. State College also 2-1. Central Mountain gets their first win, 1-2. Central still looking for their first win. Hollidaysburg drops to 2-1 around the NFC conference.
NFC conference looking just still beginning to take shape, as we say, in week 3. If we can check out those standings in the NFC, Greenville and Titusville in control. The only unbeaten's Franklin losing. That's a 2-1 now, as with Oil City. That makes things very interesting. Warren plays tomorrow in the second half of the NFC. Sees Vincent, East, and Meadville. Good win for East to pick up their first win of the year.
Okay, we'll roll on next with the county. Jamie, some big matchups as we try to see who's going to rise to the top and who moves on. We'll be right back.
Sports Watch 35 with Sports Director Gary Drapshow.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Friday night of Sports Watch. We'll be out in the county to update the tight race there. Meadville's home again tonight, as well as McDowell. But first, let's check on the Ramblers of Prep, putting their national ranking on the line again tonight up in the Buffalo area. After a win over Bishop Timon, they went after another team in the Parochial League in Buffalo St. Francis, and the Ramblers' defense would dominate. Eric Field with an early sack. The Prep offense rolling two off the play action. Ed Hinkle to a wide-open Josh Lustig, and the Ramblers were on the move as Lustig bulls his way downfield. Tim Dance had another good game. He finished with 96 yards and a touchdown. Here he gets to the sideline for a big gainer, much to the approval of his head man, and that is Mike Mishler. Dance having a great season, but Hinkle was the man, threw for 3 touchdowns. This one to Lustig, also ran for another. And here's the final score from Buffalo. The Ramblers go to 3-0 with a 41-7 win. Ed Hinkle completed 7 of 9, 3 for touchdowns. He also ran one in. Dance had 96 yards and a touchdown. The Ramblers will play Central next Saturday night at Veterans Stadium. All right, let's talk about McDowell, which played its 3rd straight home game after their initial win last week. And here's Tom Camillo, who was on the Trojans team trail tonight. How'd they do, Tom?
Thank you, Gary. Well, this was the first league game for McDowell in this young season, and let's check out how they did. The Trojans came in with a 1-1 record, while Central Mountain Wildcats entered the game unbeaten through two contests this season. And McDowell, however, led this one 21-6 at halftime, and they added to it right away in the 3rd quarter as Ryan Sherwood breaks free to the outside. They're not going to catch him as Sherwood would fight off the would-be tackler, and he goes into the end zone for the 3rd time on the night to give McDowell the 27-6 lead. And then in the 4th quarter, Sherwood would score again. On the run, he would break an 18-year school single-game rushing record as he would finish the night with 260 yards on 30 carries, scoring 4 times to give him 10 touchdowns in 3 games. The Trojans were not done there, though, as Joe Gabbard scores from 5 yards out. It was his 3rd touchdown on the night, and he racked up 133 yards on the ground himself. That made it 40-20 McDowell. The Trojans also played some great defense as well. This time, Eric Weaver sacks Phil Mann on the play, but the defense was overshadowed by the play of Ryan Sherwood.
He played 4 quarters of football, and because of that, that's what we need. I mean, I think you saw what he can do when he's on the field for 4 quarters. We're very, very excited of the game he had. I believe he set a school record for rushing yards. We're very excited for him. But I'm going to tell you something. We're probably more excited than him. Ryan Sherwood's a team football player. He puts the team in front of his individual stats, and that's another real positive attribute of that kid.
He's having a career season, Tom. But what about this McDowell offense? It's really exploded the last couple of games.
Yeah, and coming into the game, Coach Cashone felt that the way the scheme that Central Mountain ran, that they could do anything they wanted to with their offense, and they did tonight, rushing for over 450 yards as a team and 500 total yards of offense.
After 3 straight home games, they'll now hit the road. All right, thank you very much, Tom. Let's check the game at the stadium tonight. Central still in search of their first win, hosting Hollidaysburg in an Allegheny Conference game. First quarter, the Tigers drive down the field and score on the short run on the left side by Thad Mogul. He finds Paydirt for a 7-0 lead after the extra point. Then Central gives their opponents the ball deep. You can't do this, and Central's been guilty of this all season long. The fumbled punt recovered by Hollidaysburg deep in Falcon territory, and a few plays later, Chris Semirnak bulls his way in from a yard out. Central remains winless, losing tonight. We're going to talk about the County League as our end-zone-to-end-zone coverage continues on Sports Watch in just a moment. Through the first 2 weeks without losing at least once. And one of those teams, the Bisons of Fort LaBeouf, who took their act to Seneca tonight in search of a 3rd straight win. Rainy conditions, Bobcats turn it over on their first possession. Dan Harris with the recovery, and LaBeouf was in business. 5 running plays later, Dan Shields bursts up the middle for the score, and the Bisons were on top 7-0 in that first quarter. Good blocking up front for Fort LaBeouf. Seneca would try to get its ground game going. They were met by swarms of blue shirts practically every play, but the Bobcats' defense had its moments too. Matt Caden plants the Bison's Dave Wander for no gain, but on that same drive, Wander would get his revenge. Great play fake, and Wander is off to the races. 35 yards for a score. Fort LaBeouf is 3-0 after a 41-6 win over Seneca. Joining us live on Sports Watch Friday is Bison's head coach Joe Tarasovich. Joe, thanks for coming up and joining us.
Welcome.
Your second year at Fort LaBeouf in terms of being a head coach. Do you feel your system is planted firmly now? The kids understand understand your schemes and your theories on how to play high school football?
We're very excited about this year being the second year. We're very young. We were worried about how much we could put in this year, but we've got almost our whole defensive package in, now that we didn't put in last year, and a lot more offense too. So we're real happy with the progress.
And I would imagine you're 3-0. Northwestern also won tonight. They're 3-0. That's a game you're going to be looking at down the road. But what other pitfalls may be in the way for Fort LaBeouf? It's still early in the season, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we can't look ahead. Of course, we're a AAA team now, so now we get into the AAA games coming up. We've got Corey next week, and then General McLean. And Harbor Creek's playing very well. So all the AAA schools are playing well. So we've got to stay focused one game at a time.
All right, Joe. Congratulations. Nice win tonight.
Thank you very much.
Good luck the rest of the way. Let's go to other action in the county. Week 3 at Girard, the Yellow Jackets at 1-1, hosting the Iroquois Braves, also 1 up and 1 down for this 2000 season. And the Jackets got on top early with 2 quick strikes in that first period. Quarterback Eric Weidler rolls to his left and decides for his option, I'm going to keep it. From the 50, he tears through the Braves defense, turns up the speed, scores the first touchdown of the game to put Girard on top. Still in that first period, another big play. Straight handoff to Adam Potiful, and he does the rest. He's into the secondary. He's gone to the end zone. 45-yard gallop. Jackets win tonight by a 21-0 score. Also from the county, Northeast hosting General McLean. The Lancers at 1-1, while the Pickers looking for their first win. McLean trying to get it going after that opening night win to Corey, or lost to Corey, I should say. And after a half-hour lightning delay, the Pickers had some problems scoring. At the Lancers 5, they could not get it in on 4th down, and the Lancers rely on the big play. Porath to Corey Donahue, 63 yards for the score. McLean rolls to a 27-6 win. And out in Albion, the unbeaten Northwestern Wildcats tried to keep pace with LaBeouf. It hosted 1-1 Fairview, which beat Corey last week. Up 14-7 in the 4th, the Wildcats try to put it away. Kyle Kovacs to Sean Lehan. Northwestern inching into the Fairview Tigers territory, and they would finish off the drive with a Kovacs 1-yard sneak. Northwestern is 3-0 after a 20-7 win over Fairview tonight. Now down in Crawford County tonight, East, a Quad A team this season, matched with Meadville, so a big game for both if they have playoff aspirations later in the season. The East Warriors driving in the first period. Kevin Clino with a nice run on the pitch out to the outside, gets to the corner, nearly goes the distance. That would set up an attempted field goal, which was no good, so the opportunity wasted, so the defense comes up. The pass deflected, picked off by Esteban Jones, and he is gone. An interception return for a score. East is a winner over Meadville tonight, 26-0. Here's the local college games on tap, highlighted by the battle at Edinburgh between the Lakers and Scots. Gannon and Allegheny both in action tomorrow, and we'll return on Sports Watch Friday in just a moment.
On Monday,
Lofton slaps a base hit up the middle. The drives home a run. The Tribe had a 4-0 lead in the 5, and then in the 6th inning, they put it away. Check out this upper deck grand slam from David Segui. More than enough for Dave Burba. The Tribe beat the Yankees tonight by a final score of 11-1. And finally, here's your CBS games for this weekend. We'll bring you the Pitt-Penn State rivalry. That'll be at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon, the final scheduled game of their rivalry. Then Sunday with the Bills on the road, that is the game we have to show by NFL law. We'll carry the Bills and Jets at 1 o'clock. That might be the biggest game in the NFL. We'll have a crew in Cleveland for the Steelers-Browns game. So a lot coming up this weekend. Have yourself a great weekend. For Chris Hughes and Tom Camillo, good night.
You would want an ambulance company with one of the fastest response times in the country, the most advanced life-saving equipment available, and a highly trained staff of medical professionals. You would also want coverage not only in Mill Creek, but in the city of Erie, Warren, Crawford, and Erie County, parts of McKean County, select cities in 25 states, Canada, Mexico, and South America. For complete coverage, join Emergicare today.
Do not tarry for low finance.
Medical errors at birth left Ian Malone needing constant care, but the HMO began cutting him off against doctors' orders.
We had gotten to a point of complete desperation.
Al Gore heard their story and fought back.
Told the insurance company, don't do this, don't cut this child's coverage.
Al Gore got the Malone family the help they needed, but knowing that all families need protection from HMO abuses, he's fighting for a real patient's Bill of Rights.
Even if he fought half as hard for the people of our country as he did for my son, nobody loses.
Now, your Fox 66 weather forecast, featuring Erie's most powerful live Doppler radar. Abbott Doppler 24.
In the Weather Center for the Monday edition of the weather with Tom Atkins, and I was driving out in that storm this evening, and that lightning strikes